Okay, everybody, just gonna give it one more minute and then we'll get started. Okay, everybody, just gonna give it one more minute and then we'll get started. Okay, if you're watching online, you can click the full screen button, and if you actually click through to YouTube directly, then you get chat with it. So, yeah, I'm just going to give people like 30 more seconds to get here, and then we'll sort of get started. So, in the meantime, thank you so much for coming. My name's Sam Smith. I'm not the singer, so sorry to disappoint you if that's the only reason you're here. A little bit less entertaining, but probably a little bit better with marketing technology. And our company is Just Add Features. Just Add Features, we are the instant Eloqua extension company. And our core product, it's something that lets you build custom Eloqua features incredibly quickly. But that's not really what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is custom pre-made tools to let you add new channels to your Eloqua campaigns. Okay, let's get started. So Eloqua is a fantastic tool. You know, it's a really, really strong tool, and we've got this amazing engine for personalization and for targeting of messages. But unfortunately, often people just attach an email. So you've got all this power to personalize and target people, and then we're just sending emails. So you know, hopefully we can change that today by showing you some of the new features we have. But you know, Eloqua is a strong tool, but the strongest doesn't always win in nature. You know, sometimes it's just whoever can adapt quickly. So, you know, we raised the question, what if you could make Eloqua adapt really, really fast, right? What if you could add new things really quickly to Eloqua? And that's where our whole company comes from. Sorry. So, there's two ways we can help you. We have the 6 pre-built tools that I'm going to explain, and then we also have our instant extensions module. This is designed to let you add new things to Eloqua so fast. It's like 2 lines of code instead of 10,000 lines. With these really are, right? The first one is Facebook. Facebook has 1.5 billion with a B daily active users. It also has Facebook Messenger, which has 1.3 billion monthly active users, and Instagram with 800 million. 800 million users. So, yeah, that's just a huge inventory, a huge inventory. So even if we're targeting business-to-business buyers, if we can identify those, say, Facebook sees these people a lot, right? It sees most people a lot. But that's nothing really compared to currently 1 billion hours of video streamed per day on YouTube. You know, when you think about how many people actually even have decent internet access, it's the same, and it's basically like being able to target TV commercials to specific contacts. And it's really underpriced. It's really underpriced because they have such a big supply of advertising, and not that many big brands are actually embracing this yet. You know, for whatever reason, we as marketers haven't really realized just how much potential there is in targeting YouTube adverts. So yeah, I think that's a really big one. And the last one, I want messages, and the message just comes up directly. Push notifications get on average 27.6% click-through. Compare that to emails, which get on average 3.4% click-through. And you can kind of see why, because if I want to actually click an email, I have to first open it. I have to get it to my main folder, not my spam folder, or not my clutter folder as well. Then I have to click onto the email, and then I have to click the link, right? So you're in competition with thousands of spam emails and hundreds of legitimate emails, and you're only their attention is only available while they're actively in their email. Push, it doesn't need them to be actively doing anything. It appears directly, and you're not actually in competition with very many people at all. And I'll come around and explain why that is later. But it's it's a new technology, it's a better technology, and I think it's just so exciting. So with that, I'm gonna head directly into a demo. Okay, cool. We've got 23 people online. That's great. I'm not sure if chat is working. If you're trying to ask a question, by the way, if chat doesn't work, just email myself or Nicola Jackson, and we'll try and get your question answered either way. So this is an Eloqua campaign, and the difference is we've got some new things in here. So if you look, you see that I've got the familiar things like all the things you're used to, but I've also got these new ones, right? So I can still place, for example, emails, but I can also place all of these in the same way that you would place an email. So if I want to target a Facebook advert, for example, I can drag the Facebook ad targeting onto my campaign. I connect it, just like I connect any other I guess email, any other action on a campaign, and then I just click configure, and you get this kind of splash screen. So okay. And then you just directly get this screen where you can select the audience that you want. And you see here, every audience in my linked Facebook ad account shows up for me to select. So I can just choose an audience. And then I can say, do I want to add contacts to the audience, or do I want to remove contacts from the audience? Whatever I choose, that's what's going to happen when my campaign runs, right? So Eloqua is going to sync that audience of specific contacts into Facebook, and then all I have to do is log into Facebook advertising, create my advert, and choose that audience. And I can even actually click here and create a new audience directly from Eloqua. So if I say for example, and then click create, I can now see that I've directly created an audience in a Facebook ad account. I can just literally select it, choose add or delete, save, and we're good to go, right? It's that simple. All you have to do now is create your advert and select that audience that Eloqua is syncing across. So I'm just going to delete that for now, but that's how all these tools work, right? All of these tools work just like email does. You just simply place things. So I'm going to start with my favorite, which is direct mail. Now, I'm sure that some of you use direct mail, but the way that you're probably doing it now is going and getting a batch of things and sending them all at once to a batch of addresses. It's really difficult to do the sort of personalization and the sort of targeting we're used to with Eloqua with direct mail. So let me show you how that works. I place my direct mail option. I click configure. Brings up a splash screen again. And you see here, I've got the option, do I want to send a postcard or do I want to send a letter? This is a letter that I've written out. And we actually have things like field merges. So to insert a field merge, I just click here and I've got a list of all of the different fields in my Eloqua database. Just pick one. So it's really straightforward. We've also got things like insert page breaks because it's important for when we print it. So I've got all my content here. Obviously I set this up previously, but you edit it just like you would edit Word. You know, you've got Control and B for bold, all of that stuff. Then you hit save. And then I'm just going to go and hit test. Now all of our tools have this test button. If I want, I can add extra test contacts or remove. But this just gives you a preview, so you don't have to run the campaign every single time to find out how it's going to look. So if I hit test here, and what it's done, it's generated a preview for me of what my actual physical letter would look like. So you see here, it's mail merged in my address and it's put it in a very specific place. This is because print suppliers, they want to just print this off, fold it into like a windowed envelope. And so when people, when they post this for you, this address will be directly visible through the window in the envelope. You can also see we've got personalization in here, and you can see the change that I just made as reflected as well. I'll just zoom in a bit. So it's just created for me this entire kind of you know, fairly long, fairly well formatted letter with personalization included. And the reason that I'm showing you this first is I know that some of you are likely taking notes like furiously, and I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed. I don't want you to just be scribbling, trying to keep up. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to send, these are my own notes on this webinar, so I'm going to send this to everyone who left their address. It's going to come to you directly from Eloqua. So how that works is we have a print supplier. It's quite cost effective, and they will personalize it, well, we personalize it, and then they print it and they post it, and it's anywhere in the world at a reasonably low cost. So I mentioned that we have letters and also postcards. So I'll just give you a quick demonstration of the postcard. So again, I just click configure, launch the configuration screen. You can see toggling between postcard and letter. Now, when I hit test on this one, you're going to see something that I think is really cool, right? I think this is really cool. So firstly, I've put a field merge in here. I did that just by selecting the first name from the field merge list. But if I zoom in, you'll also see this, there's a landing page link. So to do this, I just put my landing page in here and I click this button. And what actually happens is it gives us this landing page link, and that link will be personalized, right? It'll be personalized and then shortened. So let me show you what the contact will see when I hit test. Okay, so I hit test again, and it's generated a PDF preview. But you see here, like the actual artwork itself is personalizable. You can use dynamic content, you can use field merges. Here I've just got a field merge for the company name and the contact name, but that's on the artwork side as well as the message. Then down where you see the personal link, you can see this is a short link, right? It's not a long, intimidating tracked link. We're not trying to get someone to type out something that's really clearly just a tracking code. But when I click this, I can personalize the landing page. So this feature with the personalized trackable short URLs, that is used throughout. Like almost all of these tools have that same feature. So I'm not going to dwell on it quite as much the next times, but yeah, I mean this is really something that I think really enhances a direct mail campaign or a text message even, you know, when you've got just like a nice looking link instead of an ugly looking link, and it's much more reasonable for someone to type it in. So just to recap then, direct mail, you can place it on your Eloqua campaign, and what will happen is when you activate your campaign, that message will be personalized by us, then it will be printed for you and actually posted for you. And the cost is surprisingly reasonable, and it can go to anywhere in the world. Plus, with these, every time you hit test to get a preview link, that won't actually be posted. The preview links are purely PDF previews, which means there's no cost attached whatsoever. So you can preview all you like without worrying about a sack of mail turning up at your office. Cool. I keep looking across at YouTube chat and I don't see any questions, so I'm just going to keep on going. The next one I want to show you is SMS. This is incredibly straightforward. All you have to do is click configure, and then you type out your message. So in this instance, hi, and then I'll say first name. Thanks for looking into Just Add Features. When you're ready to take a closer look, I'll give you a demo personally. I've set up this link to make it easy, and then the again, that would be a personalized short link. So I drop that in just by putting my landing page URL and then hitting this. Thanks, Sam. So when I save this, you notice down here we have a preview in real time, so you can see exactly what your message will look like once it's had the link merged in, once it's had the personalization fields merged in. If I hit test, it's going to actually go ahead and send that message to my phone, and I can see that this is the short URL. I don't know if you heard my phone buzz there. There you go. Just so you can see, I did actually receive the message, obviously, and the link is actually a personalized link. So yeah, that's the SMS feature. And right, I'm glad we've got a fairly simple one out of the way, because push notifications are a bit more complicated. So I'm going to try and walk through this nice and slow. But first, I'll just show you what push notifications do. So I'm just gonna hit test here without explaining what it is, just so you can see a push notification in action. But a push notification is a message which appears directly on a contact screen, and you see this is not in the browser, right? This is literally coming up through Windows in this case. Obviously that could be Android or it could be whatever. It's not part of the browser. Even when I take the browser away, it's just a message that appears on the screen. And when I click this, it loads up a link. So it's really a phenomenally powerful tool. I absolutely love it. And like I say, the statistics show that it works about 8 times as well as email does. So yeah, you know, this is where the future is. Okay. So yeah, it's fantastic. To customize it, you just change the title like this. You see here we have a preview, so you can kind of see visually what it's going to look like. And then when I click it, what do I want to happen? You've actually got a couple of choices. You can make a URL open, like I just did, but you can also do an Eloqua blind form submit. So if I wanted to, I could go submit an Eloqua form. I'd say which form, and it's going to build that blind form submit for me. This is actually incredibly powerful. This means when somebody clicks that link, you can submit a form automatically, which in turn means that you can do anything you can do from a form processing step in response to a push notification click, which basically means you can do anything, right? It's really, really, really powerful. So you have that option, but for now I'm just going to put it back to opening a URL. Okay, this URL dictates the little picture that appears, but you can also put in a slightly more complete picture. So I'm just going to go and find one. I'm just grabbing this URL. So if I put in an actual picture here, you see the preview updates. And when I send this notification by hitting test, let me just hit save. It has to be HTTPS. That's why. So when I send this image, the actual entire image gets shown on the contact screen. So yeah, you can imagine how much of an attention grabber this can be. And again, when I click it, it's taking me to justaddfeatures.com/push, which is my little microsite dedicated to push notifications. So it's actually, if you are taking notes, maybe write down this URL and kind of in your own time watch these videos, because this gives you a bit of information about strategically how to apply push notifications. So one other thing that push notifications can do, I'm just going to delete the image. One other thing that push can do is you can send, you can add action buttons to these notifications. So I'm just going to come here and toggle on these 2 buttons. And you see here the preview changes. So if I change my text to be, are you excited about push? And then I've got, I can set the text for my actions. You see here. And I can also choose from a very, very, very wide selection of icons. So you see how the icons have changed, and then when I come and hit test, the notification that appears on my screen actually has 2 different buttons I can click. Again, this is not part of the browser, this is coming up through the literal Windows operating system or Android or whatever it is. And what I can do with those is I can actually make a separate click action for each one. So I could submit a different form, for example, when someone says yes versus no. Or I could go to a different website. Right, I think you guys get the idea. So push basically is this phenomenally powerful channel. It's absolutely incredible. But with that comes an element of responsibility. Because if we spam people with these kind of images or whatever, you know, like people will, because it commands so much attention, you just need to be a little bit careful and make sure that everything you're sending is really valuable. So it's really good for distributing content. It's great for reaching out to people. The one thing that I like to do is something like this. You could say, hey, thanks for trying to start features. I'm curious, do you need any help? And then you could say, you could say yes, schedule call, and have like a calendar tick icon, or say no thanks. So if I give a title, need any help, then you can see this notification when it appears. You know, you're just reaching out to people directly in a way that's really hard for them to ignore. And also, you know, if they say no, that's great. If they click yes, you know, you can reach out to them, just call them straight away. So for actually connecting with people, it's just a phenomenal bridge between marketing and sales. And this is just one of the many, many things you can do with push. So I love it. I think it's fantastic. There is a downside. There is a downside to push, which is people have to actually give you permission to send to them. Now, I know that theoretically you need permission to send people emails, but we all know that that's not always 100% observed. With push, it's technically impossible to send somebody a notification unless they've subscribed to it, right? So the way that works is you put a little button on your website that says push opt-in, essentially. When someone clicks OK, then we get the push subscription created, and it makes it technically possible for us to send a message to that person. Okay, so it's really impossible for people to just do the equivalent of bulk buying email addresses. So it really is designed to be unspammable, which is great, right? Like, that is a limitation, but it's a great limitation because it means that the spammy bad marketers can't ruin this for us. Yes, it's going to be a little bit harder to get to grips with, but once you do that, the reward is not going to be ruined like email was, okay? So I think push is fantastic. I think it's the single most interesting channel right now, along with some of the advertising things. So I'm just going to go back to my campaign. By the way, guys, if there's any questions, just drop it in the YouTube chat or send me an email or anything. I'd be really happy to address them. We will have like a Q&A time at the end, but yeah, by all means, you can raise anything you want to as well. Just one point about push is we do recommend, if you're going to do push, try and get a little bit of help with it. Unless you've used it before, I would recommend having consultancy of some kind, you know, and we have some amazing partners. We've got an amazing partner in the US called Marmato Consulting. We've got some partners in Europe. You know, we ourselves can provide implementation services. Yeah, just because push is a little bit more complicated with it having to be integrated to a website, and you also want to make sure you're asking for permission in the right way. So by all means, if you're thinking about doing push, fantastic. But yeah, just bear in mind that you might need to do a little bit of implementation work, and that we would recommend getting a consultant for that. Okay, so we've covered so far. We've covered direct mail. We've covered SMS. We've covered push. So I'm just gonna quickly talk to you about the advertising targeting. So I've got here Google and Facebook ad targeting. And remember guys, Google owns YouTube and they have a massive display network. Facebook owns Messenger and they own Instagram. And between these two, just these two companies have something like 80% of all the online advertising spend. So it's not like you're targeting every advert on the internet, but it really is like you're targeting a very high percentage if you get these two. So I've just placed my Google and my Facebook ad targeting connector. If I click configure, I click let's go on the splash screen. And just like with Facebook, every audience that is already available in my ad account is automatically loaded for me, and I can just select them. Now with Google, it's a little bit worse than the Facebook one because I don't have the option to add contacts to the audience or remove them from the audience. I only have the option to add. Which means you have to be just a little bit more careful when you're actually choosing which audience to use, for example. But it's really not that big a limitation. It's just a nice extra feature that we have with the Facebook one. So Google ad targeting is Google and YouTube. You literally just come in, select the audience you want contacts to be added to, log into AdWords, create your advert, and select that same audience. It's so straightforward. And just like with Facebook, I can create a new audience directly from Eloqua if I want to as well, and then just select it in AdWords. So that's really all there is to it. I think I already showed you the Facebook. But just to recap, there's the audience. There's the audience we created earlier. You just choose an audience, you say add contacts to the audience or delete them from the audience, and then you activate your campaign. It's really that simple. Then when you log into Facebook or Google Ads, you find that audience waiting for you as a targetable list. It's really, really simple. So that is direct mail, SMS, push, Google, and Facebook. So that's 5 out of the 6 new channels that we want to talk to you about today. So the last one is a bit different, okay? The last one is LinkedIn, but it's actually LinkedIn messaging. So all the 5 channels I've shown you already, these are automatic. The LinkedIn is semi-automatic. So I'm just going to save and click through. So just like all the other tools, I can go hi, first name. I can insert personalized links if I want to. And I just put in a little message, just like with the SMS, I see a preview beneath. But what happens when I actually activate this is it's not going to send that automatically on LinkedIn. What it does is it adds it to a queue. So I can queue up messages that my salesperson then comes in and either they click send or they change it slightly. Because what we're trying to do with this is have genuine one-to-one personal conversations, but have them efficiently and have them at scale and have them methodically. So I open up my LinkedIn messaging queue by clicking this button. You can see there's a few things in there. I'm only using my own. I don't want to reveal anyone else's data, so they're all myself. But what happens is I click copy and open, and it takes me directly to that person. The message is already on my clipboard, and all I have to do is paste that message and click send, or I can customize it. I also could say, you know what, this suggested message isn't relevant, let's just delete. Once I've sent it, I can click done to record that I've sent it, or I can go snooze and say, you know what, I think we should send this, but I've already got a conversation going with this person, so let's wait maybe 7 days. And just like that, I've processed through my entire queue. So you can send, 30 messages that have been queued up in a very short space of time, but you do also have the opportunity to legitimately personalize them, to have that legitimate conversation that is one-on-one with people. I do realize now that whenever I message someone on LinkedIn, they're gonna assume that I'm using this kind of tool. So I've done myself a bit of a disservice there, but you can kind of imagine how for prospecting or for following up or something, being able to actually schedule a LinkedIn message and say, here's what we think you should send to your sales team, and then actually have them still have the opportunity to adjust that or snooze it or whatever it is. It's just a really nice channel. Okay, that's actually all the channels I wanted to show you. So I don't see any questions. If you do have any questions, please, if you click through to YouTube, you've got the live chat window, just drop it in, or you can drop me an email, sam@justadfeatures.com. Be happy to answer any questions. There's 26 people on the call, so I'm sure somebody has something. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do quickly is show you our instant extensions tool. Everything I've shown you so far, it's available, you can use it, it's easy. Custom extensions is slightly different, okay? What this is you place a custom action, for example, and then when you click through, it actually brings up a code editor. Now what I've done in this example is I changed 2 lines, this line and this line, from the template, and I've built out, just changing 2 lines, I built this tool which is going to go and actually look up the contact's weather in real time and then save that back to Eloqua. What this, this could be any tool, any service, any API. You can connect to Eloqua, and it's just so straightforward to add new features. And we don't even expect you to code, because this is instead of 10,000 lines of code, it's literally changing 2 lines. That means we can do it for you. When it's so simple, it just doesn't matter who does the work, right? If it's half an hour's work, 2 hours of work, it's just not that big a deal. And our vision is that people will use this to make Eloqua not just extend it with the tools that we've built for you, but have your own ideas. This could be a tool you use, a third-party tool. It could be an internal tool that's been built for your business. And by the way, we really, really, really want to work with Eloqua partners. So if you're a partner, please don't view us as a competitor. View us as a, as a resource, right? We can work with you. We can give you commercial terms, whatever it is. We've already got some wonderful, wonderful partners. So yeah, please, by all means, contact us. And just to give you another example of a custom extension that I've built, again, by changing just a couple of lines of code. This time I changed 2 lines of code, and what I've done is I've connected Eloqua to a tool, and it goes and it takes the domain name from the email address, so just add features, and just from that it is able to guess the industry and save the industry back to the database, which is just an amazing piece of data enrichment. So you see here, for me, it's guessed business and industrial, advertising and marketing, which is perfect, right? It's literally perfectly guessed my my industry down to a decent level of detail in that taxonomy. And again, I changed this line and I changed this line from the template, and that was it. So I'll just check my email quickly in case there's any questions, but I don't see any. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk quickly about pricing, and I'm going to tell you about a special deal that we've got going. So the pricing is $500 per month for the instant extensions platform. That includes the custom actions. It includes custom audiences. It includes custom decisions. So if I wanted to program a decision step, let's say I wanted to take my, I wanted to say, do we have an account for this company? We wanted to query our CRM, for example, or let's query our accounts team and say, do we already have this contact? Query our webinar, say, did they sign up? Custom audience lets you import any audience on demand. So I could go to my data warehouse and say, I want to build a segment and import them directly into my campaign. It's all the same kind of thing. It's all very, very straightforward. So it's $500 for the entire custom extensions module, and then just $150 for each channel. So what that means is, one of our competitors, Market One, they charge $1,000 per month just for SMS. For that same price, you could get the entire custom extensions platform. You could get direct mail plus SMS plus push notifications. All that would be cheaper, right? But also, we've got this deal on right now, which is available at justadfeatures.com/launch.html, where we are literally going to give 15 clients some of their software spend back as free custom development services. So what that means is, on top of all of that, we will build custom things for you for free. It's really a very, very, very strong deal. And what we actually are doing here is basically subsidizing it because we want to get the word out. So basically just to try and encourage awareness of our tool, we're going to actually subsidize for 15 clients custom development as well. So hopefully you'll be one of the people who takes advantage of that. If you're not, everything will still be available. It just might not be quite the same price point. But what we want is, we're hoping a bunch of people take our deal, implement a bunch of things, make Eloqua do everything that they want, and maybe mention us when you receive your marquee awards. That would be super nice. Optional, of course. I've just got a couple of questions by email. So Carlos is asking, they have a client who was interested in the print channel. Can they implement their own printer? Yes. The answer is yes. A lot of the work with the direct mail channel is producing that customized PDF. What we actually do with that, it's a very simple change for us. So the answer is definitely yes. You're not the first person to ask that question. Great question. Thank you. So also a question from Sylvia, who says, do you automatically track the interactions with the messages in different channels so we can further use them in Eloqua? The answer is yes, right? The answer is yes, we do. The exact mechanism of that may be something we have a bit of a conversation about when we do the implementation. The reason being, not all SKUs of Eloqua support the same methods of tracking. So you might, for example, see them appear as web visits, even though they're, like, it won't necessarily make a distinction. But the short answer is yes. Okay, the short answer is yes, with a little bit of a caveat that there's a little bit of config there. Okay, so any more questions, please send them to sam@justadfeatures.com. Hopefully I'll get one or two more before the broadcast ends. But there is one other thing that I wanted to mention to you. This is just a bit of fun, but what I've done is I've put together a page here at content.justadfeatures.com/goal. So that's content.justadfeatures.com/goal, and this is just a simple little Eloqua form. But if you fill this in, I want you to just say what's something that you've seen that you want to implement in the next 90 days. So for example, I want to do a 4-channel test campaign. If you submit this form, then what we're going to do, we're going to use a custom action to actually take your goal statement and just put it on a mug, so it sits there on your desk and reminds you to actually do what you set out to do. Like I say, it's just a bit of fun, but it's also a demonstration for us of how we can use the custom action to do something quite interesting, like order personalized mugs. So, yeah, I think that's, unless I get any more questions through, that's probably the end of the webinar. So please reach out to us with any questions, if you have any follow-ups, if you want to see a demonstration. If you work for Oracle, then I would be very happy to do a sort of one-on-one training thing for you to help add this to your demo scripts as well. We do actually have one. We already have some amazing partners within Oracle. We're really lucky. In particular, Oracle Israel, a shout out, because you know who you are. You've been, they've been demonstrating Just Add features every time they demonstrate Eloqua, because they're getting a good response, right, from customers. So we'd love to help you get this implemented in your own demo environment, added to your demo scripts. Any help you need, reach out to us. If you work for an Eloqua consultancy, again, we're really keen on building those relationships. And if you're a client, we have partners who can help you implement this, and we can recommend people, or we ourselves can help you out. So just to leave you with the URLs, it's justaddfeatures.com is our website, justaddfeatures.com. There's /launch for all the details of the offer, which includes the pricing and the free custom development for 15 clients. And then it's content.justaddfeatures.com/goal if you want to get a free personalized mug which has your goal statement on it, which was ordered entirely using Eloqua custom extension. Thank you so much, everybody.